So, I made a last-minute decision. I was supposed to see John at some point today, and I worked all night, and I haven't slept. Well, kind of slept a little bit yesterday, but I got off work, and I was driving home, and I figured, well, I don't really feel like going and, like, sleeping, and then waking up, and then getting ready, blah, blah, blah. So, when I left work I think I left at like 6, I went to go charge the car so I wouldn't have to do it before I left later, because downtown is always super busy. So I plugged the car in, and then I'm like, you know what? You know what we're gonna do? We're just gonna charge the car. We're gonna go take a little shower, get cleaned up. We're gonna make some eggs, and then we're gonna drive down to Bradenton. We're gonna park the car in this like little nature preserve, and then I'm gonna hop my ass in the Gulf of Mexico, and I'm gonna swim out to John's boat and surprise him when he wakes up. So we're headed down there now. I don't think it'll be a long swim at all, but I guess we'll find out. So we're just gonna go down there, hop in the water, and he's gonna be sleeping. I know that for a fact. So I'm just gonna be like, open up, I'm here. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye. So I just got down here, parked the car, and looking at the map, it's going to be a little bit of a walk to get to, let me see if I can flip this bitch around. Can I flip it? I don't think so. Anyways, I have to walk to the other side of that to get to the beach, and then I have to find out where his boat is and find the shortest way to get there. So I'm going to, obviously can't take my key, so I'm going to tuck that somewhere under the car, put my sunglasses in my pants, and jump in the water. So I'll update you guys later. I probably should have brought a Ziploc bag to put my phone in, but poor planning. Bye. Hi. So, I did it. I swam over to his boat, and I think, okay, so I've done a lot of dumb stuff in my life. A lot of dumb stuff, but I think this definitely takes the cake. The absolute dumbest, most incredible, and most dangerous thing I think I've ever done. I didn't exactly think it through 100%, but we live on the edge here. So I'll tell you guys exactly what happened. So I left you this morning. I was driving down on my way. I think I was going across the bridge right when I left off with you guys. And then from there it was probably like a 10-minute ride to get to where I was gonna hop in the sea. So at that point, I still haven't slept. So now we're probably going on not sleeping in like 24 hours. So I hadn't slept in 24 hours. I was on a diet of basically protein bars and a pre-workout drink, which I don't think is a recommended normal diet. But anyways, that's what I was living on. Oh, and I had eggs this morning too. So I get down there, and then I park the car, and I basically strip everything down except my little swim trunks that I have, no shirt. I can't take my phone, I can't take my car keys, I can't take my credit cards. It's literally just me. So I get out, I tuck my key behind my tire so I can grab it later, so I can lock my car. And then I had kind of pre-planned my route, where I was gonna go, and like where I parked strategically. So I walked over along the little trails, and I was expecting more trails to be there to take me over to the beach, but there wasn't. So I followed the trail around, and they had these little maps of the park and how it worked. So I looked at the map, and then I followed it around to where I wanted to come out at the beach. And then I came across this little track, and it said no trespassing, private property. I was like, okay, well, I guess that means walk on in. So I go that way. I trespass a little bit, and I'm walking, and I come across these people's house. So I'm basically in their backyard. So I scoot along their property line, and then I just pop out to the beach, and there I'm at. So standing at the beach, and there's probably 5 or 6 boats out on the water, sailboats, motorboats, whatever. They're just anchored there for the night or for the weekend. And I'm like looking and I'm looking, and his boat has a few like distinguishable like things about it. Like he has his flag on the back, he's got solar panels, and then the sail cover up top is like a dark BB blue, so that's what I'm looking for. And I almost confused another boat with that one, like as I was getting in the water, but thankfully like I looked at it again, and because that would have been the opposite direction, so that would not have been good. So I make it to the water, and the water's like green-ish, like not the clearest water, certainly not Key West water at all. So I like wade out to my knees, and then it gets up to my waist at a point probably about 100 feet out at this point, and then it just basically drops off into the Manatee River. So I'm like going and I'm going, and I used to be on swim team, so I thought like, oh, I got it, you know, like this will be fine. No. So like looking out, and I found his boat, it looked a whole lot closer than what it was. So looking at it, I thought it would take me like 5, maybe 10 minutes to get out to. That's not the case. It actually took me like 20 minutes, 25 minutes to get out to, and it ended up being like a little more than a quarter of a mile, or even a quarter of a mile. And when you're swimming, that's a pretty long distance. So before I got in the water, as I was driving over, I checked the water temperature, and it was at 70, so I'm like, okay, like that's doable, like I'm not going to turn into an ice cube, like it'll be comfortable to be in. So I get in the water, and it's doable, like I'm not dying, it's fine. And I guess I didn't take into account the tide, the current, and the wind. And also the wave height too, because like when you're either on a boat or you're above the water and you're looking at the waves, they just like look like little ripples. But when your face is in them and you're trying to like go like swim through them, they're a whole lot bigger than you think. So I'm like freestyling basically out and out and out, and like slowly the current is carrying me down and away from the direction that I need to go. So I'm constantly like freestyling and then like flipping over on my back and basically just paddling with my feet and like my arms a bit, just to like kind of take a break, because I'm getting like smashed in the face with the waves and like swallowing seawater, and like it was so hard, and I don't even know why or what made me think that this is a good idea. But I go and I'm like, I'm going out and I'm going out and I'm going out, and like I'm over here, and then I'm slowly drifting down here and like slowly correcting myself and correcting myself. And at one point, like I would flip over constantly to like see where I'm at and like get my sense of direction, to like readjust myself and figure out what's going on and where I'm at, and like how hard I need to swim compared to the current and the wind. So I like flip over at one point, and his boat's right here, and then there was another boat all the way down here that like I'm using the tube for direction. And so he's here, other boat's here. I started out down here, just swimming in this direction, but I ultimately ended right about here, right over where the other boat was, and I'm like getting closer to their anchor, and they're over here, down in this section, and I'm drifting that way, like down river, and his boat's all the way up here. So I'm like, Jesus, like it's never ending. It doesn't feel like I'm moving at all, like making any kind of like progress. So I thought that I was gonna have to like stop at that boat and just like take a breather for a second, trying to like collect myself, because pretty sure I was dying. And if I would have died at that point, like it would have been my own fault. It would have been fine. But it's whatever. I would have washed up on a beach somewhere. And mind you, I can't see in this water. It's green. I don't know what kind of snakes, trains, sharks, whales, what, you name it. I don't know what's in this water except at the bottom, which is like grass. And who knows who lives in the grass, you know. So I'm in the water, and I'm like chugging along, and I'm chugging along, and it literally feels like an eternity that I'm in this water. It felt like I was never going to reach the back of his boat. So I like go over, and like he has a dinghy on the back, thankfully, because that comes in handy. So there's this dinghy tied off on the back, and I'm like going over, and I'm going over, and I finally like flip over, and I make it to the dinghy. And like I'm not the strongest person, I don't have the biggest muscles by any means, so there's just like a boat deck on the back of it that like flips up, and I try to like hoist myself up on that. Not gonna happen. But thankfully like the dinghy was there, and like I'm able to like think in a pinch and figure things out. So I like hoisted myself up on the dinghy's rope, like the tie line that it's on, and basically like stepped on that and just like tossed myself up on the boat deck. So I'm finally aboard after all that struggle. I thought I was gonna die. and then I'm like trying to catch my breath because I've literally like, I just like, I can't catch my breath, and my heart feels like it's gonna pound out of my chest, and like I'm like, I should have stretched, maybe a little bit of preparation, but that didn't happen. So I'm like trying to like collect myself, and I like drink some water, and he's still sleeping, and I'm trying to be like as quiet as possible. And then I grab a towel and I'm like patting myself off. I'm like, as I'm doing that, like still like physically dying, I like shake him up like, hey, good morning, surprise, it's me. He like looked at me, he's like, how did you get here? So yeah, I made it, and I barely made it. I'm lucky that I did, and it was the stupidest thing I've ever done, the dumbest thing, and the most incredible thing, to be honest, because it was pretty cool. But after like talking to him and talking to his friend that came over for a couple minutes, they're both like, yeah, like, I swam once too. Like, once. You do it once and you learn I learned my lesson. I swam once and I'm never ever doing it again. After that, we just like hung out on the deck and we talked for a while, and I think it was like like 6 or 7 hours I was there, and time was flying. But a few lessons that I learned from that, very important lessons, and maybe you can use them too. Probably not, but lesson number one, well, you do it once and you only do it once. Lesson number two, he told me that I was like near hypothermic and my body was freezing, but thankfully like my core was fine, so I guess I was like, I escaped death, you know, I cheated death once again today. And then he also told me that seawater, salt water, removes heat from your body 10 to 20 times faster than just standard fresh water. So then that's why people who go out in Florida or wherever you're at, they become hypothermic and they don't realize it. So that would be the reason most people wear bodysuits. I didn't have the time to stop at the store and pick up all my fancy supplies, flotation devices, a whistle maybe, perhaps a wetsuit. Didn't have time, didn't think of it. So it was just me and my little swim trunks. And so yeah, those are my lessons that I learned, and I'm just never gonna do it again. So I'm thankful that I made it, and I made it back, and that's about it for this one. Thanks for sticking along and listening to the dumbest thing that I ever did. It was fun, but yeah, so I will see you guys later. Follow me on Twitter, HowieSays_, and then follow me on Instagram too. It's just at HowieSays, and then there's updates on all three of them, basically in a rotation, like YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. So go ahead and do that, and then also like my video. Go ahead and comment on it, either like the dumbest thing you've ever done, or you can tell me how dumb I was, because I just need that constant reminder. And then go ahead and subscribe to my channel, because I really want to bring you guys with me. I want to take you with me on this whole journey that I'm going on, and yeah, just keep up, follow along, and we'll stay in touch. Thanks guys, love you, bye.